When you visit the Milwaukee Public Museum, there's a real good chance you learn something you never knew before, and you'll maybe even want to go back.
That's because of the experience provided by the museum's trained educators. As photojournalist Dan Seelan shows us, they're much more than just tour guides.
My name is Jacqueline Kelly. I'm an educator here at the Milwaukee Public Museum. We're trained in interpretive techniques to help the visitor look at these exhibits, understand the objects, and use their critical thinking skills to look at objects and help them understand the people that use them better. It's really important to get the public excited and engaged with what they're doing, because when they come to this museum, it helps them better understand their place in Milwaukee history and their place in the world overall. Here they can see things that go back 420 million years. They can understand different cultures about the world. So our task of getting them engaged and excited about these topics ultimately really benefits the visitor and helps them understand more about the world and their place in it. I come from a history background, so of course I love streets of Milwaukee. I'm a lifelong Milwaukeean, so I've been visiting this museum for over 25 years myself. Some of the historical aspects of the decorations at Streets of Milwaukee you can see in our general store. So it features things like honeycombs and tinsel, which are really popular decorations of the time. Granny's home is a great example of how a residence would have been decorated at the time. So when you look through the window, probably most prominently you can see the tree, which was lit with candles. So light bulbs at the time were really big and expensive. They were not the nice little twinkling lights we're able to use nowadays. Here we are at the residence of definitely the most famous occupant of the Streets of Milwaukee. This is Granny's house. Granny has been here since this exhibit was built back in the 1960s. And Granny is sort of a classic German-American, well-educated woman. Right now she's inside the house because it's the holiday season, but typically she sits on her porch wearing a black outfit with sort of a cream-colored shawl around her. It's nice to see, you know, long-standing permanent exhibits, but just touched up or freshened up in a little way.
Now, the holiday decorations will be up through January, thanks to Dan Seelan for that story. Now that is one of the items on my bucket list.
Well, what's interesting about that is that even if you've been there before and then you go back to the old streets of Milwaukee, you see something that you didn't catch the first time. So thanks for joining us on this morning, and we'll see you again next Sunday for 4-1 Forward.